What's up, Penn Nation? You're now tuned in to yet another edition of BJPenn.com Radio, the fighter's voice. And as always, I'm your host, Jay Kinch. Pleasure to be here with you each and every week. Big mahalo and aloha for everybody tuning in. This show would not be possible without all of you fine patrons. Tonight, Penn Nation, you guys are in for a real treat, in particular with our second guest of the evening. But before I give you guys tonight's lineup, first, as I tell you every single week, you guys know what's up. Your home for MMA news is BJPenn.com. Our team is always hard at work to bring you guys the most reliable information, all the breaking news, tons of exclusive content, the viral videos, what's happening in the sport. If it's newsworthy, we've got it. Make sure you bookmark us, BJPenn.com/MMA news. Make sure you guys follow us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+. Set up alerts. Stay up to date on this sport. Everything you crave from the sport you love, BJPenn.com. We have got you covered, guys. So, getting back to tonight's lineup. First up, we're going to kick things off with an up-and-coming prospect of just 22 years of age, who is 11-1 in his mixed martial arts career, 2-0 in the UFC. Very impressive. He's got a fight coming up at UFC 227. Of course, I'm talking about Ricardo Ramos. We're going to preview his fight with Kyung Ho Kang, talk about the matchup, learn a little bit about Ricardo, where he comes from, how he got into martial arts. Believe it or not, he made his professional debut at just 16 years of age. So while he is only 22, he's got a lot of experience in this game. Definitely a guy to keep your eyes on going forward. Future champion potential. A ton of skills inside the cage. Very marketable outside of the cage. The future is very bright for Ricardo, and it was a pleasure to speak with him tonight. So that's our first guest. Our second guest is the big treat I was telling you guys about. The New York badass himself, the best ever, Phil Baroni joins the show yet again to talk about this huge announcement of Phil competing against Chris Leben. Chris Leben coming out of retirement to fight Phil Baroni in Bare Knuckle Boxing. Now, when this fight was announced, it took the MMA community by surprise. There was immediate concern displayed for the health and well-being of Chris Leben, but I'd like to think that the majority of true combat sports fans are very excited to see these two warriors finally throw down, and for that matter, it's with no gloves, all stand up. It's going to be something special. So Phil and I are going to discuss the process of how this fight came about. We're going to talk about the matchup against Chris Leben. Obviously, this was a fight that could have happened a long time ago, and you're going to hear Phil discuss this. It was a fight that was being targeted a long time ago as well. However, the fate of the MMA gods have put these two guys together now. Phil is very excited for the fight. He's fired up. He's ready to go out there and make a statement. And hopefully, this is going to be the kickstart that reignites Phil's career, and we're going to see a career resurgence from Phil Baroni. So we'll discuss the matchup at length. Phil's thoughts on Chris. Phil's thoughts on legacy. We're also going to pick his brain on the current state of mixed martial arts. And you might be surprised at who Phil Baroni would like to fight in the future. So again, great conversation with Phil. But there's a twist. He called back about 2 hours later, said he smoked a joint on his porch, and he wanted to talk some more. So, you're going to hear the initial interview, you're going to hear us wrap things up, and then we'll just segue right in to Phil calling me back and the roughly 8-minute conversation we had thereafter. There's going to be lots of profanity, lots of testosterone, and of course, great perspective from a guy who's fought all around the world in every organization there is. I was very happy with this interview. I hope you guys enjoy it. So, there you have it. 2 guests, 2 great conversations. BJPenn.com Radio, the fighter's voice. Let's kick things off with Ricardo Ramos. All right, Penn Nation, please welcome to the show up-and-coming bantamweight prospect in the UFC, 2-0 with the promotion, 11-1 in his career at just 22 years of age. Of course, I'm talking about Ricardo Ramos. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today, Ricardo. How are you enjoying Sacramento, man?
Oh, thanks, man. I'm doing well. Training with the best guys in the world, and very excited for my next fight. And yeah, that's all. Ready for the show.
Now you're set to take on Kyung Ho Kang at UFC 227 next Saturday. You've been training with Team Alpha Male for this one. First off, how has your camp been so far, and how beneficial has it been to move to Team Alpha Male for you personally?
Yeah, I get a lot of improvements on my MMA style. Train a lot of wrestling, and yeah, I bring my coach from Brazil, my MMA coach. So I'm having the best trainers in the world for sure, and I can complain how thankful I'm right now for this fight. So I think it's the best training camp in all of my career. So I'll be much better on this fight for sure.
Now, is this a permanent move for you, or is it just going to be for this training camp?
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe for this training camp, and we will see the next one. But maybe I'm gonna do in Brazil, or maybe I come back here. Let's see how everything's gonna work.
Okay, fair enough. Now, give us your thoughts on Kang as an opponent. You know, he's on a 3-fight win streak, lots of wins by submission. How do you think you guys match up, in your opinion?
Oh, he's a great matchup. He's a good ground fighter. I think he most of his wins it's in the ground game, but he can fight on striking too. But I'm ready for everything, training with the best guys in the world, and confident on my game for this fight. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take this win and bring that to Brazil for sure.
Now, I know you spoke with our own Drake Riggs earlier this week, and you guys talked about your ability to finish a fight. Where do you think that comes from for you? You know, aside from hard work in the gym, is it creativity or just seizing an opportunity for you?
So, like, I'm from BJJ, but I'm always trying to improve every area in MMA. So, my in the beginning of my career, I submit most of my opponents, but I'm trying to get better in everywhere in my MMA game. So I will see what the fight's gonna what gonna happen on the fight, and try to submit or knock out Kang for sure.
Yeah, you know, you're coming off that sensational spinning back elbow knockout. It doesn't get much better than that, right?
Oh, sorry, what?
You're coming off that spinning back elbow knockout. It doesn't get much better than that, right?
I always try to do something better than the last time. So yeah, I have some tricks to do on this fight and some secrets. So yeah, we are. I always try to make the show and show for the fans like something new, something like cool for everybody watch and say, oh, this guy he's a showman, and he can fight like for points. He can knock out. He can submission. So I'm trying to be complete, and I'm doing this very well. So that's what I'm ready for every type of fighter. So and in the plus, I can make the show happen. So that's my wish for this fight.
Right, well, more of the same. I know the fans would certainly love that. For all of our listeners that might not be familiar with you just yet, you made your pro debut at the very young age of 16 years old in Brazil. How did you get into martial arts and subsequently get into mixed martial arts?
Yeah, I started in BJJ, 14 years old, and when I start my pro MMA career I was just trying to make money for because I moved to the gym and started living at the gym with 15 years old. So with no money, no food, no anything. So I had to fight pro MMA for money. So they pay like 600 reais. It's like $200, and it was a good money to eat for a month. So that's how I started on MMA, and then I like it, like to fight like punches and show my BJJ. So that's how I started on MMA, and then I started do that for to be for a career, to make a career, build my career in MMA, and I get some good fights. And in one of my fights on the beginning, my third fight, they put me to fight with a really huge guy on MMA. He was 12-1, I think so. He was like a better record than me, and I was just 2-0, and I beat this guy. And after that, I started get only tough opponents on my career. And after I won this out of these fights, I came to US and started make my building in US.
So it sounds to me like martial arts has just been a way of life for you since a very young age.
Oh, what? Sorry.
It sounds to me like martial arts has been a way of life for you since you were very young.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I know this pretty well. So I'm very comfortable with all situations on MMA, and yeah, I feel like it's my job for all my life for sure.
We hear a lot of people talk about the benefits of getting into martial arts at a young age like you did, and how that translates into fighting as a professional. Obviously you're always learning in this game, but do you feel like you have a big advantage over other guys your age in this sport?
I think my advantage is my work, not like my age or everything. I think I work hard for make advantages. So that's how I create the advantages on the fight. Doesn't matter how older my opponent is. Doesn't matter where he's from, who is training. What matter on the fight is how much you work and how much will you put on the fight. So I put all my will every day on my training, and that's how I put I do in my fights. I put all my will in the fights, and that's how I get the win.
Now, when you look at the bantamweight division, it's full of talented athletes, plenty of tough matchups for anyone in the division. I'm wondering if you feel like you're already prepared to fight some of the guys in, say, maybe the top 15?
Yeah, of course. I'm very prepared for everyone, and I'm training with tough guys right here. Like Cody Garbrandt, he was a champ, and he's gonna fight for the belt. So I'm training pretty well with these guys, and I never get scared of any opponent. So yeah, I'm ready for everyone, and I'm always will be ready. And I don't think I have to be afraid of anyone. Like I like to fight. I like what I do, and that's really fun for me. And that's why I always when I walk in to my fights, I walk like smiling and doing like a fun moment for my life. It's not a bad moment. Sometimes I see guys like bad faces, like looking to the opponent, like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy. But it's not like that for me. For me, it's like fun, and the fight is the best moment in the training. Like is a plus on your career. So we
you
have to enjoy this moment.
you truly enjoy this game.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Now, I know you also mentioned to Drake that you'd love to fight Sean O'Malley next. That would be a great fight, in my opinion. It's one that makes a lot of sense for the division. Are you hopeful that fight can be made in the near future?
Yeah. I'm focused on my next fight for sure, and I have to beat my next opponent, and I'm really sure I will beat this guy, and then I will start to think about Sean O'Malley. Uh, I know it's the best way on my career, and for sure, I can fight with any top guys in the division, but I think Sean O'Malley will be the guy who gonna show me to everyone. He started on UFC in the main event, so in the pay per view, like the
Main
main
card,
card.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I need to be. I need fans watching my fights and like my style, and if they see that, this is gonna really good for me, and I can make get more better fights, for be a champ and get the belt.
Yeah, give us your thoughts on what Sean has been able to do with his career so far. He's marketed himself very well. He's got a big following, like you were just talking about. Do you look at a guy like that and, try to do something similar to build up your own brand, or do you prefer to stay under the radar and climb the ranks?
No, I try to be like only me and try to be trust with myself. I think a lot of guys watch Conor McGregor and try to be like him, but you are not Conor McGregor. You are you.
Right.
So you have to be yourself, and that's what I try to be. Just be myself. I can copy Conor McGregor and try to be like him, but the truth is I'm not him. So if you are you, it's a better way uh, to be accepted for the fans and for the everyone. And when you are you, like you really trust in who you are, it's a easy way to make the people's like you. I think so. So yeah, that's what I think. I will do whatever I do to be a champ, but be myself.
Definitely, definitely. I think that this sport is all about characters. We've got plenty of characters in this sport, and the fans can see if you're being fake or not. So I agree with you 100%
Yeah, for sure.
there. But speaking of the rankings, and more specifically the title, UFC 227, it's headlined by the rematch between Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. I know when you spoke to Drake that you're picking Cody, but what has it been like for you to be a part of a championship training camp working with Cody in the gym?
Oh, that's amazing for my for experience in my career, like training with a guy in a high level, and it's amazing to have this experience. So I think I learned a lot with Cody, and he always teach me a lot on the trainings. He's a really great personality, so I think it's support me a lot uh, for this next fight and for all my career. So I try to learn the more I can, to be a better fight every day. So that's a great experience, and I think I help a lot Cody too for this fight. So he's gonna be much better than the last one. I'm trusting on this, and yeah, we will see what gonna happen on this fight. But I'm 100% confident of my fight, and trust a lot on Cody for this fight too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Iron sharpens iron. That's what we've always heard about training partners, and the
Yeah,
better training partners you have, it only builds up your own abilities and skills. But
training with Lions.
yeah, absolutely. It must build a lot of confidence though to be in the same room as a guy like that and be able to hold your own against him.
Yeah. Sorry, what?
I was just saying, it must build a lot of confidence to be in the same room as him, training with a guy like that, and
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
your own.
for sure. Yeah, we're gonna be together on the day of the event, on the week of the event. So that's good. Training camp in the same training for the same fight and the same gym, and we will be together in the fight. So that's will be much more comfortable for both of us. So I think we help each other for sure. We are in the same way, for the same focus, the win.
Right, right. Brothers in battle, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. We always have brothers in the battle for sure. Yeah.
So, assuming you get the win over Kang next weekend, you come out with no injuries, injury free. How quickly would you like to fight again, and how many times do you think you'll be fighting this year?
So I will fight August 5th. I think November is the best date for the fight again, and I will ask for that. But let's see. The last time I tried to get a fight soon, but they didn't give me. So I will just ask for the fight and for November, and that's how long I want to fight.
Okay. So, real quick, give us some, tell us about your short-term goals that you have set for yourself. Do you expect to be in the conversation for the belt sometime in 2019?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I will work. I'm work for that. So I want to be the champ, and I will be the champ for sure. No matter how much time I will spend I will put for working for this goal. But I want to be the champ. I'm training for this all my life, and I think if you don't wanna you wanna be a UFC fighter to don't be a champ, don't have like why you are to be a UFC fighter. I want to be the champ for sure, and I'm 20 years old, and I have a lot of time to be a champ, and that's how I will work, and I think I can make that next year.
Right. You're absolutely correct, man. If you don't want to be a champion in this sport, you're probably in the wrong sport. That is for sure.
Yeah.
All right, listen, Ricardo, we greatly appreciate the time today. Just a couple more questions here for you. What's your official prediction for the fight, and what are you going to do to celebrate the win and your birthday?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my birthday will be August 1st, so the celebration will be fighting for my birthday, and I will win this fight in the first round. I don't know how, but I have an uppercut on my mind, and if this fight finish in a submission, I will get his back and choke him. So that's how I'm thinking and dream every day. Put it in my dreams, his face in. So every day I think about that. So first round for sure, and uppercut, striking, or rear naked choke and submission.
All right, very specific, man.
And
I'm looking forward to it.
After fight, celebrating LA for sure with my California brothers.
All right, man. Very good. And in conclusion, man, any sponsor plugs or shout outs you'd like to get in before we let you go?
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
In conclusion, any sponsor plugs, if you'd like to thank any sponsors or shout out anybody before we let you go?
Yeah, I don't have any sponsor for now. Only my team, Paradigm, my management team. So I have to say thanks for these guys. They are working very good for me. We just started working together. So they are making a really good work with me in a short time. And I know all the best things going to be soon.
Yeah, for sure. Paradigm is one hell of a management team. You're definitely with the right guys when it comes to that. All right, listen, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, Ricardo. We'll have to catch up again after the big win. Happy birthday next week, my friend, and good luck in the fight.
Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you guys for trying to understand my English, and I will practice and learn more to talk with you better. Thank you, guys.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what, man. You do pretty damn well considering a lot of the people I speak with. So keep up the good work, man.
Thanks.
All right, buddy.
Fast.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye. Os. Now, you guys hear how great his English already is. Imagine him improving on that, only evolving as a martial artist, 22 years old, undefeated in the UFC. Truly, guys. A lot of star power potential with Ricardo Ramos. Very much looking forward to this fight against Kyung Ho Kang at UFC 227. Make sure you guys tune in, give him some love and support, and let's see what the future holds for this promising young talent. But let's waste no time. I'm your host, Jay Kinch. This is BJPenn.com Radio, the fighter's voice. Coming up next, a conversation of epic proportions with the New York badass, the best ever, Phil Baroni. Penn Nation, please welcome back to the show a man who's fought all over the world for damn near every major organization there is, widely known as the best ever, the New York badass himself, Phil Baroni. Thanks as always for taking the time to speak with us today, Phil. What's the good word with you, man?
Aloha, motherfuckers. What's up, man? I'm cruising.
Aloha, motherfuckers. That's awesome. Before we jump into things, man, I just wanted to go back to our brief conversation we had yesterday when we were setting up this interview. First off, did you end up getting a hold of any Paz?
Yes, I spoke to him, and he's going to corner me. He's to come to the fight.
That is tremendous. So
Paz, I grew up watching the Tasmanian Devil. You know what I mean? I emulated him a lot with the robe and the entrances and stuff. You know, I was always a boxer first. Even though I wrestled through college, I was always boxing as a kid and always wanted to be a boxer. So
interesting. So he will be cornering you for this fight. You had mentioned he cornered you before. I'm wondering which fights was that for, and how did you guys cross paths?
I think Evan Tanner. I think Tanner twice. We just crossed paths, and I was always a fan. So man, I asked him to walk me out and corner me, and then I think he came to 2 or 3 fights, even outside DFC. You know, we just maintained a good friendship. You know, he's a good friend of mine. Whenever he's in Vegas, we hang out. The drink is 5 times wine.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, like I said yesterday, you know, he's had his ups and downs just like anyone, but he's still really beloved in Rhode Island, and for sure, I think the movie about him still told his story pretty well. But speaking of great stories in combat sports, man, yours has to be on that conversation as well. It's still ongoing. This fight with Chris Leben and Bare Knuckle Boxing, that was not only a shocker to the MMA community, but I feel like people have really had a positive response to it. Would you agree?
Yeah, man, it's a big fight, man. It's a good fight. 2 strong guys that you know get in there and mix it up, that aren't afraid to trade punches and are exciting. I mean, it's a good fight. It's a fight that should have happened in the UFC, you know, a long time ago, and now it's going to happen in bare knuckle. You know, and that's the fight people want to see. Me and Chris Leben standing up, trading punches. You know what I mean? That's the fight everybody wants to see, and that's the fight that's going to happen.
Now, the last time we spoke, this was, I want to say, over a year ago. You were looking for a fight in any of the big promotions. I know you did have the fight with the 24-second knockout, but how did you end up signing the deal with WBKFF, and how did this deal get made?
Well, you know, we spoke in the past, and they wanted me to have a couple fights, but you know, it didn't interest me. I'm an MMA fighter, and I wanted to have a big MMA fight. I just won a King of the Cage, and you know, I wanted to go on to one of the bigger shows, but then they threw Chris Leben at me, and that was a fight I couldn't turn down. You know, I couldn't turn that fight down. It's a good fight. I think I think it's a great fight. I mean, I think everybody's gonna want to see that fight. Everybody knows us. Everybody knows, you know, we don't fuck around, and it's gonna be a tough fight. And you know, I'm a serious motherfucker, and Chris is a tough guy, and people are gonna enjoy this fight, man. It's a fight I think the MMA community wanted to see for a long time.
Absolutely, I agree with you. That was something I was going to get to here in a moment. But did they initially? So they initially offered you other matchups, but when Leben crossed the table, that was the one that you definitely jumped at.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean. I don't want to fight nobodies or you know, up and coming dudes or whatever. I want to fight. I want to fight, you know, big name guys. And Chris Leben's a big name and a great fighter. He's had a great career, and he's a knockout artist, and you know, he's the perfect matchup. I mean, UFC talked to me about this fight a long time ago when I was in Pride. He just came off the Ultimate Fighter, so I mean, it's a fight I think people have been wanting about for a long time. You know, we both had some ties to Hawaii, you know, differently, but we both have ties. I fought there before. You know, he lived there. I just think it's a good fight. I think the whole world, you know, at least the MMA community, always wanted to see this fight. And now we're going to do it, you know, the way that people wanted to see us, you know, standing across from each other and trading punches.
Yeah, you had told Chris Taylor last week that this fight has been a long time in the making, as you just mentioned. Initially supposed to fight after the first season of Tough, but you ended up re-signing with Pride. It's pretty crazy how life comes full circle like this sometimes, right?
Yeah, man, I started my career in the fucking Tough, man. You know what I mean? So it's exactly full circle, and you know, I'm training real hard. I'm gonna win this fight. I'm taking it real serious, and I know Chris Leben's a dangerous guy, so that I'm training like I'm getting in there. When it's a dangerous guy, I mean, it's gonna be a good fight. The fuck guy comes to fight. You know, he comes to fight. He comes to trade punches, and so do I. I mean, just look at my face. You can tell I'm a serious motherfucker.
Right.
And Leben It's the same thing. So it's gonna be a good fight. We're gonna fucking go out there, trade punches, and give the fans what they want to see.
Now, is this a one and done deal for you, or could we see you competing in more bare knuckle events? Depending on how this fight goes.
We'll see. Who knows? Who knows?
Okay.
I'm just focused on this fight. I'm not looking ahead. You know what I mean?
Right.
If things don't go right, what the fuck are we look forward to? I got to take care of my business. Chris Leben is a tough motherfucker. He comes to fight. He's super dangerous. He never gives up. He's most dangerous when he's hurt. I mean, it's a scary fight, and that's why I signed. I wasn't going to fight some bum or some nobody. Chris Leben's a guy, everybody knows and respects in the industry, and we're gonna throw it out.
Yeah, man. In regards to Chris as a fighter and an athlete, I think the unanimous bottom line for everybody is that he's a forged in iron scrapper, ton of heart, as you're talking about. Always has been, and always been very fun to watch. But that being said, I assume this is the kind of matchup that really gets the New York. Go ahead.
Go ahead. With that being said, so am I.
Right. Absolutely.
Everything you said about him, so am I.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that this is the kind of matchup that really gets the New York Badass excited and fired up to compete again, right?
I've been looking for the right fight for a long time. I don't want to fight, bums or nobody. I wanted, in MMA, I want Vito Belfort next. In boxing, bare knuckle, there's nobody tougher than Chris Leben. I mean, who can you think of tougher than Chris Leben to fight in the bare knuckle fight? I mean, the guy is a fucking cement cinder block head. He fucking hits like a ton of bricks. I mean, that's a dangerous, scary motherfucker. And that's why, it piqued my interest. Same thing with like a Vito Belfort, not the bitch Belfort that everyone's beating up. I want the TRT Belfort when he comes back. I want big fights, tough fights. Fights that matter against guys that matter.
Yeah, and I mean, at this stage in your career, that's the only things that make sense for you, right? I mean, get the big matchups, maybe big paydays, but fights that mean a lot for your legacy at this point, right?
Yeah, but that legacy shit is out the window. That's a bunch of shit, you know what I mean? Well, when you're done, nobody remembers you. Nobody's talking about Sugar Ray Leonard anymore. They're great fighters, Olympians, and stuff that nobody talks about. When you're done, and it's over. So that's why I'm still going. You know what I mean? I don't want to be done. Why am I old? Well, I love this shit. You know what I mean? That's why.
Yeah, some guys are just born to do it, man.
I got a degree. I could do a million things right now. I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to fight. So this is a perfect fight and a big opportunity, and on the big stage. And I think a lot of people are going to tune in. I always wanted to see this fight, and I believe, it's going to help put BKB over. I mean, what fight would be bigger than Phil Baroni, Chris Leben, bare knuckle? I can't think of any.
I know that's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. I agree with you 100%. But you mentioned some stuff about the career. I kind of wanted to touch on that a bit more later. But in regards to getting ready for a bare knuckle match, what changes when it comes to preparation for a fight like this? Obviously, you can't spar bare knuckle, but there's a different dynamic with the cut damage and the possibility of breaking your hands. So what's your camp going to look like for this one?
That's the thing. It's almost like the UFC when I got in at UFC 30. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew, the formula. Right now, it's so easy to be a UFC fighter. You just plug into any gym. You do jiu-jitsu, you do Muay Thai, you box, you wrestle, and that's it. When I was in UFC, nobody knew what the fuck to do. Nobody knew what the best way to fight was, what you needed to train, what you didn't need to train. Back in the day, spin shit didn't work,
right, and
jumping shit didn't work, and the submission. It was just a completely different game. It's the same thing with BKB. I'm a pioneer of the UFC. I was a pioneer in the tough man, and now the bare knuckle. I mean, we're gonna fucking find out. Can I throw as hard as I throw when I'm wrapped up with MMA gloves on? I'm not sure. Am I gonna? Yes, I'm gonna. We're gonna find out. Can he take my punches? No, nobody can. Do I feel confident I win this fight? Yes. Why? Because I'm faster. I'm going to hit him first and harder. And nobody can take my punches. I mean, that's what I believe. And that's why I believe, after this fight, if the champion, Tommy Gunn wants to fight anybody, I believe I'm made for this. Nobody's going to be able to take my punches, bare knuckle, and I'm fast, and I'm strong, and I'm in great shape. So, I'm excited to get in there.
Yeah, it definitely complements the style that you've had over the years, for sure. But, in regards to the damage, and Chris has taken a ton of damage over the years. I saw that some people on social media were expressing concerns for him coming back. However, he's been away from competition for like 5 years. I feel like that's a good amount of time to get ready for a comeback, right?
I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's healed up. I mean, I heard he's in San Diego training. There's a lot of good guys in San Diego. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good stuff in Mexico. I mean, I expect him to come big and strong and at his best and be ready to throw it out. And that's how I'm coming. And it's gonna be a fucking fight. You know what I mean? If you want to see a fucking fight, and two guys that don't step backwards, that throw with bad intentions, this is the fight. This is the fight to see. And the fight, how everybody likes to see fights, on the feet. So there's nothing realer and rawer than this. We're gonna be two fucking dudes that have been, making a living and a life for ourselves, kicking ass, and now we're gonna take the gloves off and we're gonna fucking only be able to stand up. We're just gonna fucking trade. We're gonna see who's see who's standing at the end. And I'm confident it's gonna be me.
Now, getting back to like we were just talking about in regards to legacy, I know you said that these things don't really matter anymore, but I know you and I.
It's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit, guys. People talking to try and get guys to take fight legacy. When you're done, nobody knows. Nobody remembers. You remember Rich Franklin, the school teacher? I mean, who gives a fuck? You know about that middleweight champion. He's not in the picture anymore. When you're done, you're done. So if you want to stay in the game, you got to be fighting. You got to be active.
Well, No, I was just gonna say this kind of goes along with the stuff with Chris, and like you're saying, you and I discussed this before. I understand people's genuine concern for the health and well-being of combat athletes, but at the end of the day, man, you guys have earned the right to go out on your own terms.
Yeah, we're grown men, dude. If I want to jump out of a fucking plane, I can jump out of a fucking plane. I want to go surf some fucking giant waves in Hawaii, I could do that. Odds are I'm gonna fucking die doing that. I could fucking go ski down the giant mountain. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Odds are in a fight I'm not gonna die because I've been, training my whole life to fucking protect myself. I'm a fucking killer. I'm a black belt and everything. I'm a fucking, I'm a fucking samurai. So is Chris Leben. And we've been doing this our whole lives. Suck a dick. You know what I mean? If you don't think we should be fighting, suck a dick. It's our life.
I agree, man. I agree. No, and that's the same train of thought I come from with that. It's you guys should be able to do what you want.
Yeah. You know what? When I grew up, I knew fighting wasn't good for me. You know what I mean? After I finished college, I knew fighting was good for me, and I just kept doing it. I'm a fighter. I mean, you are or you aren't, and that's the bottom line. And you got one life, and some dildo fucking commissioner jerk. I mean, did you ever see the fucking last Rocky? I mean, what the fuck?
Right.
A fighter should be allowed to fight these fucking scumbag commissioners and jerk off promoters. It's just a bunch of bullshit.
Right, and 9 out of 10 of them have never fought a day in their life either. So
a lot of fucking scumbags. It's all political. It's a bunch of bullshit. The best fighters aren't the ones fighting on TV always. Those are the guys that could, play by the rules and suck the best dick.
Well, kind of staying with what you're talking about here, we see a lot of athletes in combat sports today, but there aren't too many true purebred fighters like yourself left.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that. The reason there was only 30 guys in prize because that's how many tough motherfuckers there are in the world. It didn't fucking change.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of good athletes. Anyone can learn the moves. Anyone can learn the moves. It's not about the moves. You know what I mean? It's about the fighting spirit, and I believe that's why Chris Leben has always had a ton of fans. He never gives up. He never backs down. He comes back from the brink of defeat, and I'm the same way. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to fight to the end, and that's what the fans like. And a lot of these athletes nowadays don't do that. So why do people want to see me and Chris Leben fight? That's why. They've seen us out there before. They've seen the blood, sweat, tears, the fucking guts, the dogged determination, the persistent perseverance that we've displayed, and that's what I want to see us. We're two fighters that are real fucking fighters. I mean, you hear Dana White talking, you want to be a fighter. Well, motherfucker, of course we want to be fighters. We're real fucking fighters. We're still doing it.
For sure, man, for sure. Anybody that knows this sport or knows you guys know that this matchup is going to be absolute fireworks from the opening bell. But changing gears here for a moment, being that you've been a household name in mixed martial arts for so many years, and as I mentioned earlier, you fought everywhere, I think you'd have an interesting perspective when it comes to the current state of mixed martial arts. Pay-per-view buys have been down for the UFC. Money fights are being made all the time. Bellator and PFL, they're gaining some steam. Other promotions are beginning to build up a bit as well. What's Phil Baroni's take on things? Where does the sport need to go in your opinion, and what needs to change, if anything?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't fucking know. What is the question? I mean, what is the question?
I guess
a lot of promotions are doing good. I mean, people like to watch fights. People like to watch fights. People want to see who's the strongest. I mean, it's as simple as that. People want to see who's the strongest. And I mean, I'm not sure the question again, man.
I guess what I'm asking you is, when you look at the sport, having been in it for such a long time and knowing that, numbers are kind of dwindling in the U.S., I mean, what do you think needs to change? What could make this sport better and keep moving forward?
The UFC's got to do what Pride's got to do. They keep recycling all these motherfuckers in and out, guys. The fans can't get familiar with fighters. Guy loses, you want to see him come back. You don't want to see him come back. You want to see his comeback fights. You got to have. They should pick their guys and promote them. I mean, the UFC's the management, the promoter. They're everything. You know what I mean? They're the sport. But it's a hard question. They got to pick the team. They got to pick a few guys, promote those guys, and people can want to follow them, guys that they like, and follow their story. You know what I mean?
Right. No, absolutely.
And a guy loses in the UFC. You don't see him again. You hear he won 3 fights, and now he's back 2 years later. I mean, you're not familiar with him. But if he had those fights in the UFC, you know what I mean? You would watch his comeback. You would watch him grow, and you'd be more invested. And that's what it is. The fighters, it's hard to get invested in them. They're in and out of it. There's new guys all the time. I mean, the best guys stick around, but I just think that they rotate fighters too much. You can't really know the story. How can you get behind somebody you've only seen fight once or twice?
No, you're absolutely right. There's also the oversaturation problem too, right? I mean, there's fights every weekend. You can't even keep track of this sport anymore.
Yeah, that too. I mean, it's getting like Tuesday night fights when I was a kid growing up. Tuesday night fights and Thursday night fights on I think ESPN, on USA Network. You don't know who's fighting. You put on the channel and you watch 2 guys box. It's the same thing. You have no idea who's fighting UFC. There's too many guys. There's just too many new fighters.
Right. Too many people to try to tell the story for each of them, and I agree with you. It'd be a good idea to try to, because I always say that this sport is all about the characters. That's what people like to get behind. That's what they love, and the more that the fans know about each and every one of you, the better off everybody is at the end of the day. But moving on from there, go ahead.
Exactly. That's why this fight with me and Chris Leben is huge. The fans know us over the years. They know our stories. They know where we've been, upside down, and they can be behind us. That's why it's a big fight. I mean, who the fuck wants to watch? If you watch me and Chris Leben fight each other 15 years ago, in our second fight, you wouldn't know nothing about it. It would just be another fight. So you can't be invested. I'm sure there's a lot of guys like me and Chris Leben knocking each other out in UFC nowadays, but you can't be invested in them. You don't know about them. I mean, we have a past and a history. You can look us up and see all that we've done and accomplished, and what we've come back from.
For sure, man. I agree with you. I think that, like I said, I mean, any real fan of the sport and mixed martial arts knows how big this matchup is, and like you said, knows the story behind both you guys. But it sounds to me like you really feel like this is happening at the right time.
I mean, fuck yeah, I'm training. I'm in great shape. You know, I was trying to get some MMA fights, and I got this call. I wasn't too interested in the first one, and then when they said the second one, and they mentioned Chris Leben, you know, I signed the contract immediately.
Right. So
I mean, this fight intrigues me. It's just a good fight. It's a good fight. I mean, I've really been working on my wrestling and my ground. I've been working on. I couldn't wait to get back into MMA, but now I have to go back to, you know, what got me to the dance, and that's boxing.
Absolutely. Now, I know you're not looking past Leben at all. You said you're focused on this fight, but what's next after this war, man? Do you still want to compete in mixed martial arts? I know you mentioned Vitor Belfort's name. Do you have any idea what promotion you'd be looking at, or you know?
I don't know. I just want to put that out there. If anyone wants to sign that motherfucker to your T version, I'm sure nobody wants to fight him or whatever. I'm the first one. Put my name down first. You know what I mean? I got my hand raised. You know, I want to fight. I want to fight the best. I know I can still compete. I had some hiccups, some bad fights. You know what I mean? But I still feel I can fucking, you know, compete with the top echelon of fighters.
You still want the fight with Joe Schilling?
Oh, I would smash him. You know, I think I'll knock him right the fuck out. I mean, that could be a BKB fight too. I would smash that kid. Yeah, that would be an easy fight. I mean, the sport is fucking political. It's so fucked up. How can that motherfucker be getting fights in Bellator and not me? I mean, what sense does that make? You know, obviously somebody has a hard on for me, Bellator. Obviously. I mean, there's no other reason. I mean, who? Why is the PFL? Why is the PFL tanking right now? I mean, that's what I heard. Why is it tanking? Because me and Chris Leben aren't the main event. Even if you didn't want us on teams or whatever the bullshit is that they have going on there, even if you didn't want to do that, if you just promoted us as the main event and showed the rest of the guys, you know, under that, it would be a draw.
Yeah, I mean, man.
Don't tell me if the PFL next 2 weeks from now had me versus Leben, everyone would watch it. Would you watch it? I think
of course.
Nobody knows these motherfuckers. I don't want to watch Tuesday night fights or Thursday night fights. Boxing, you don't know the guys. You aren't invested in them. I mean,
right.
We've had long careers. We're great fighters. You know, I mean, everyone's seen our ups and downs, and I just believe, you know, the people who are invested in us, they either like us or they don't.
Yeah, I think the PFL has right. I think the PFL has a great format, but they're definitely missing the star power. Right?
Stars,
that's what they need to keep that ball rolling. I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. Maybe after the season, you know, people see fighters get paid $1 million and they get some bigger names. But for the time being, you know,
that's why I wanted to be that motherfucker. I know I could win that shit, and I deserve $1 million. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Who would be? I mean, just say me and Leben were in that motherfucker. What would be a better story than me and Leben winning $1 million finally?
That'd be awesome.
All the fucking trials and tribulations we did, all the fucking ups and downs, fighting all over the world. Pride, ONE FC. I fought all over the fucking world. I fought the best, you know, for the last fucking 20 years. How nice would it be to fucking walk off into the sun with $1 million check? Fucking really nice.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Who would appreciate it more? Me or some 24-year-old fucking jerk off from Brazil? You know what I mean? Me. I appreciate it more. Fucker.
No, you're damn straight, man. I mean, who'd be more deserving than you and Chris?
And who would the fucking fans be root behind? You know what I mean? Who would the fans be root behind? I'm sure even the motherfuckers that hated me my whole career would fucking see me out there and be like, oh, that motherfucker never gave up. He kept fighting. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm in the BKB. And that's why I accepted to fight Chris Leben. Because, I mean, whatever. I heard he had a little trouble getting a fight, too. So we're in the same boat. So I owe him a fight. You know what I mean? It's not just I'm going to go out there. I'm going to fucking try and take his fucking head off and get him the fuck out of there. And I know he's going to do the same. But I respect him. And it's going to be a fucking fight. And I signed this fight because I know he deserves it. I know he signed with Bellator and some bullshit happened. And I know he deserves. I know he deserves a big fight. And I know he deserves a place to showcase his skills. Unfortunately, it's against me. But that's why I started to fight.
I agree with you, man. You guys are both deserving of another opportunity in the spotlight, and I'm certainly looking forward to the fight. Listen, Phil, you've been more than generous with your time. As always, I greatly appreciate it. Just a couple more questions here for you. Getting back to October 20th, man, what's your prediction for the fight, aside from it being a war, and why does everybody need to make sure they fucking tune in?
No, it's not going to be a war. I'm going to knock him right the fuck out. It's going to be me devastating him. I'm a fucking real good boxer. I mean, I'm a real good boxer. I have fast hands. I hit fucking hard. I have good defense. I mean, I just really think it's going to be a fucking, a showcase fight for me. And I'm great against lefties. I mean, watch me fight. Every lefty I've ever fought, I knocked out. I'm real good against lefties. It's a perfect matchup for me. And I just know how to showcase my ability and get him out of there. I mean, I know he's dangerous. But he cannot take my punches. Nobody can take my punches, especially Bare Knuckle. Nobody can take my shots, Bare Knuckle. So, I mean, that's the fight. If you want to tune in, can fucking leave and take my shots? I'm saying right now, no. Maybe the Leben fans think he can, but I'm saying there's no way. So that's the fight. Because everybody knows I'm fast and I hit hard. And I'm going to get to him first. And we'll see what happens.
All right. Very much looking forward to it. October 20th. In conclusion, man, the floor is yours. Anything else you want to get off your chest, or sponsor plugs or shout outs or anything like that?
Nah, man. Fuck, man. Buy a fucking Future Legend shirt. I own the fucking company. My partners, me and my partner, Paul and actually, we put this together. He's going to be announced. He's going to be the broadcaster on this fight. Me, Paul, and Frankie, we have this company, Future Legend. We're out of New York. Support the brand.
So what is it, futurelegend.com, or how do they buy some t-shirts?
Yes, sir.
Futurelegend.com. Yes. All right, very good. Very good. All right, again, man, I greatly appreciate the time, Phil. Always a pleasure. Always a great conversation. We'll have to catch up again when the fight gets closer. You have a great day, brother.
Yo, take it easy, man.
All right, so Phil, you wanted to have one last word?
Yeah, man. But like, for me, it's kind of like, I can't explain it. I was outside smoking a joint. I was thinking about it like full circle, man. Like I'm back where I was before. I had an MMA fight. I won by knockout fast, and then I found myself in the tough man, and I found myself in the UFC. I kind of put myself in a similar situation as I was when I was in the tough man. But what I wanted to say is that I want this fight bad. It's a great fight. I'm so happy and I appreciate that it happened. And the promotion has the balls to put this fight on. You know what I mean? A fight is a fighter no matter what. And if a fighter wants to fight for real, he's going to fight. And he's gonna at all costs and under any circumstance to do what it takes to fight. Whether it's fucking move to Thailand or it's and just fight. Keep fight. A fighter's gonna fight, man. And man, fuck it, bro. Turn it off. I forgot what I was gonna say, bro. I was high.
No. Well, it sounds like with the full circle thing we were talking about. It seems like you're drawing comparisons to the early stages of your career.
Yeah, that's what I feel like, man. I was just sitting out there thinking, I'm like, man, I'm in the same position I was when I was fucking, when I was a kid, when I was 20 years old and I was out of college and I didn't want to fucking get a job, and I just fell into the fighting, and it just happened again. You know what I mean? I put myself in this situation. It's just that, man. A fighter's gonna fight no matter what. You're gonna find a way. In the thing, you're gonna fight, and under any circumstance, you're gonna find a way to do it. If you don't want to fight, you're not gonna fight. Man, I fucking forgot what I was gonna say, bro. But it was something good. My bad.
No problem. So, are you feel?
I can't can't fucking explain. I can't explain it, but I mean, man.
You feel like? Do you feel like
you're gonna find a fucking way? You're gonna find a way, and you're just gonna find a way, and it will come to you. I don't know, man. I can't really think of what you're gonna say, bro. Maybe you can get me back on.
Well, I was gonna say, do you feel like this opportunity that's coming up with this bare knuckle boxing? You know, you're drawing the similarities to earlier in your career. Do you feel like this is the opportunity for the resurgence of Phil Baroni, for the the tail end of your career to get those big fights that you've been looking for?
But maybe it's gonna be a bare knuckle, man. Maybe it's gonna be a BKB. But maybe it's gonna stay right there.
Right.
Maybe that's where I fight Bell for. Maybe I'm the BKB champion. I don't know. I just can't believe, honestly, that I'm here right now. I've been training for MMA and jiu-jitsu, and I really had no interest. I turned down the first BKB fighting. I don't want to fight fucking bare knuckle. But when they gave me Chris Leben, you know what I mean? That's the fucking fight.
Yeah, no-brainer. No-brainer.
I can't turn that fight down. That's a real fight. And I'm not gonna. And nobody wants to see me fucking take him down and us fight on the ground anyway. So we're gonna have to go out there and trade. So why not just fucking take the gloves off? Fuck it. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna trade. We're gonna meet in the middle of the ring. Fuck it. Let's just take off the fucking gloves then.
So
that's what it is.
So you went out back.
That's what this fight is.
Right. So you went out back. You went out back.
This is what the fight is, bro. People want to see who's gonna fucking win in this throwdown. And if it was MMA, maybe one of us would think about the takedown. But right now, there's no fucking takedown. It's not a fucking option. It's not an option. The gloves are fucking off. There's no fucking wrestling. We're gonna have to go in there. We're gonna have to fucking trade punches. We're gonna see we're gonna see who's left standing. It's not gonna be a fucking decision. Everybody knows that. I mean, I'm looking to get him out of there. My first barrage of punches. I mean, I don't think anybody in the world can take my punches. I'm too fast. I hit too hard, and maybe this is made for me. I mean, maybe it's full circle for the tough man. That's what I was fucking thinking about. I'm gonna fucking be the BKB world fucking champion. I'm gonna win that fucking title. I always wanted to be a fucking boxer. There's just no fucking scholarships for fucking boxing when I was a kid.
Right.
I had to go to college and I fucking wrestled. And then I fucking got in the UFC, but I wanted to fucking box. I couldn't get no fucking fights. I mean, I had like 10 kickboxing fights and I had like 17 boxing fights, but I never lost. But it's so hard to get the fucking fights. Whatever, man. I don't know. I'm gonna fucking beat fucking Chris Leben, bro. I'm gonna beat Chris Leben. I'm gonna fucking knock him out. I'm gonna knock him out in the first round. I mean, no disrespect. I came on here with the intention. The guy's a tough guy. Thank you for taking the fight. It's a big fight now. Because you're in it. And fucking be ready, bro. Cause I'm coming hard. I'm gonna fucking take you out. I mean, that's it. And you're gonna and people who tune in, they're gonna tune in to see that. Can I fucking take him out, or is he gonna take me out? But I'm telling you right now, I'm taking him the fuck out. Taking him out in the first fucking combination I hit him with. He's going down.
All right, man. Well, listen, it sounds like you're real fired up, and I'm very much looking forward to this fight. It sounds to me like you were outside puffing a joint, and then you realized like how surreal this feeling is for you.
Yeah, that's what it was, bro. You hit it right in the head.
Right.
I'm going to fight the toughest motherfucker you can pick to fight, bare knuckle. In a couple weeks in fucking high altitude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm going to fight the worst fucking guy you can actually fight. The toughest motherfucker besides myself. Because I'm faster, I'm stronger, I hit harder, and I'm more skilled. And I have to prove it. And that's where we're fighting. Because I think I'm going to beat him, and he obviously thinks he's going to beat me. And it's been a long time coming,
It's a crazy journey, right?
Real fucking fight. What?
It's a crazy journey, this fight game, right?
It's a crazy journey, especially for us to me right here, man. But I'm not ready to get off the fucking ride. I mean, that's what I'm fighting for. I fucking gave up a lot of shit to be in the position I am right now. I mean, I could easily done a lot of things differently. You know what I mean? I had a fucking. I didn't have to fight anymore. I was set up. I was okay. I had a good wife. Everything. I was good. But I'm a fighter. I want to fight, and nothing's going to fucking stop me from doing it. And now I have an opportunity, and it's a fucking big fight and a real fight. And I can't wait for it. And you fucking shit fucking miss it. If you're a fucking fight fan, it's a fight you wanted to fucking see for a long time. It's going to fucking finally happen, and how you want to see it happen. Standing in the fucking middle of the fucking ring. And we're not even going to fucking have gloves, bro. We're not even going to fucking wear gloves. That's how fucking hardcore this fight's going to be.
Without a doubt, man. Like I said earlier, if you have a pulse, this is a fight that you want to see, and I certainly can't wait for it, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, not a problem. Anytime you want to come on, man, just hit us up. More than a pleasure.
All right, man. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right, buddy. Later. Can I just tell you guys that in my entire career of interviewing fighters, I had a lot of fun with that one. And then for him to call back, say he puffed a joint, then kind of forget the direction he was going with the conversation, then it all comes back around. Thank you very much, Phil, for an awesome, awesome interview. Looking forward to the next one, buddy. I hope you guys enjoyed that truly as much as I did. But that's it for us tonight, guys. BJPenn.com Radio, the fighter's voice. I'm your host, Jay Kinch. On behalf of the whole team at BJPenn.com, thank you guys very much for always coming to the site, listening to the show, and being a part of Penn Nation. Like I said earlier, make sure you bookmark us, follow us on social media, bookmark us at bjpenn.com/MMA news. Stay up to date on the sport you love of mixed martial arts. Again, on behalf of the whole team, mahalo everybody. Peace out. We'll catch you next week.